The United States government is offering you a piece of land of your own.
We have our own land.
No, it's not yours. It's the U.S. government's.
Did they buy it?
No.
Did they trade for it?
Now, it's not like that.
Then how can they own it?
He has a point.
We will give you everything you need if you will just submit to living on a reservation.
We need nothing from you.
You can depend on your country to take care of you.
You are not my country.
Mr. Durant, if we could just...
Senator Crane has come here to offer your people a better way of life.
Better than what?
Better than what you have.
I like what I have.
I like this man. I like the character. I like how this man expresses it, how he relaxed. He's very assertive and autonomous. How many African leaders who can say, you know what, I don't need it. I'm satisfied with what I have. How many African leaders who can stand and represent their people genuinely before the invaders, before the colonies? How many? This is the kind of information we need to have as Africans. This is the kind of decisions we should have as Africans. Being able to stand and say, you know what, I don't need it. I don't need it. And now, the appetite, the desire of having fancy things which we have not created is increasing in our mind every single day. We don't want to create, we want things which have been already created. As Africans, this information is very important. We need to love what we have. We need to appreciate what we have. We need to use what we have, not what is brought from them. And that is why we must be poor, because it is brought, the freedom is brought to us. It is not us producing or becoming. That's the problem. If you watch this video and you are remaining the same person and you're not changing and you're not getting the sense, I think there's a problem. So we need to be autonomous. We need to be assertive. We need to be decisive as Africans and understand what we have, love what we have, use what we have.
William's government is a study in paradox. I mean, William ran one of the best campaigns ever. Yeah. You know, he ran a first-class campaign. He bamboozled, you know, the sitting president. He crushed him. He crushed someone of Raila's stature. Why did he do that? Because he connected with the people. He jumped off the political class and related to the people. There are many people, about 1.52 million people who voted for him, who did not vote for him because of tribal loyalty. But they thought, this is the guy who wants to change the status quo. He's bringing a revolution. When he took power, he forgot that agenda and went back to the politicians. That's the way the problem is. Either the president didn't believe in his campaign agenda, or believed it but reverted back to where he was more comfortable is. But that is William's problem as we speak today. Yes, the disconnect between the utopia he created during his campaign and the reality that he wanted to rule on the country. That is the disconnect. That's why so many people are disappointed with him.
The IMF says that Kenya is the only country in Eastern Africa that will have a better than expected economic growth at 5.3%. While that's good news, I have a big problem with any economic growth that leaves out the low-income earners and the middle-income earners. Majority of Kenyans fall in that category. We cannot have an economic growth that leaves out majority of the people.
It started as a revolution where the young people raised very fundamental accounting questions. Those fundamental accounting questions brought about the questions of the transparency and capability of the then cabinet led by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Ruto's capacity to lead the country. Out of that, the demonstrations were organic, and the government responded first by saying the demonstrations were being funded by the Russians. That was on record from the official government spokesman. It turned out it was Ford Foundation that was funding the demonstrations. It moved from Ford Foundation, it was brought into the door of the sitting Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Gachagua Rigiji. Out of that line, his supporters, his key supporters, one being Honorable James Mwangi Gakuya and Major Dong, were targeted, and other people were arrested, and also very many young people disappeared that have not been accounted for. Based on that, we moved to court with speed to get interim orders, conservatory orders, and the Lord Justice Mwita has granted the orders to stop the police and any investigative or prosecutorial agencies from arresting, detaining, arraigning, harassing, or stopping the enjoyment and the liberty of the two members of parliament. What we are seeing now is that Kenya never changes. In 2013 and to 2017, there was no such actions that we are seeing. 2017 to 2022, there was arrests and arraignment of members of UDA, then an opposition party within government. They were arraigned, we stood firm, defended them, they got power. After they got power, in 2022 to 2024, the state machinery was turned against Azimio members. We still stood firm and defended the Azimio members who have now gone to be government. They have turned from being those who are arrested, they are now the arresters. They are now targeting their guns against the internal strife within UDA, where there's one party, one faction led by His Excellency, the President, on top of it, Raila Odinga and his team, and the other party, Gachagua, who is now an outsider. He sits at the same position the Deputy President then, now the President of the Republic of Kenya, was sitting. The DCI has now again been unleashed on these people who are still in UDA, but they are perceived to be outside. We will defend them. If anybody wants to remove Gachagua, if anybody wants to remove, to deal with the Deputy President, kindly deal with him politically, through an impeachment process, through the political process, through systems known by law. We will be putting on alert that any police officer who will be used to exercise powers outside the powers provided for in Article 245 and 244 of the Constitution, forming up the National Police Service Commission, we shall be going against them in their own capacity, in their own names. We shall not be suing the National Police Service Commission. We shall be going into their own names, and they shall not be accorded any representation by taxes paid by citizens. They will have to hire their lawyers, and once they lose, they will have to pay the damages and compensation.
Unfortunately, in the current situation, we have a misunderstanding. We have a miscommunication. Partly, I am to blame. I should communicate better. You have told me that maybe my communication is not getting to the right people because maybe I'm communicating using the wrong media. Maybe to be able to reach these many young people, I should be able to get into the media where they are, so that I can communicate better to them. Maybe that way, with understanding what we are doing, understanding the reasons why we are doing what we are doing, they would, instead of opposing what we're doing, they would add value to what we are doing, support what we are doing, and benefit from what we are doing.
As a matter of fact, Mr. Mwenda is my friend, Mwendwa, and Tue is a person I know. I want these people to just believe in the people of Kenya and give a chance.
You are confirmed.
Yes.
You are not be confirmed to go and work with friends. You are going confirmed to go and work for the people of Kenya.
That's why I'm saying, Mr. Speaker,
yes,
they are my friends, but they need to know, Mr. Speaker, that time is up. The people of Kenya would like to have an organization that is being run in a proper manner and in a accountable manner. And they need to know one thing. Murkomen is not alone. Now I have an army behind me of young people. Mr. Speaker, they either voluntarily exit these positions and accept the changes that we need, or we greet them or occupy them, Mr. Speaker. This is
that will be unlawful.
Mr. Speaker.
And we encourage you not to go that route.
No.
Tunataka tuelezewe na viongozi wengi ambao wanasema Mount Kenya imetengwa. Ni mabarabara gani inafanyika Rift Valley ama inafanyika Western na Mount Kenya haifanyiki? Kama mabarabara imesimama Kenya mzima. Na sisi tuliteta Mau Mau Road zimerudishwa. Kuna barabara zilitolewa, Mau Mau Road zimerudishwa. Hakuna mradi wetu hata moja rais ameotoa. Ile miradi yote ilianzishwa na Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. William Samoei Ruto, hata barabara hii ya kutoka Maroa Kahiga unaona inaendelea kujengwa. Sasa hii vita tunasema iko ni ya nani? Why am I saying so? I've heard people call us collaborators, call us betrayers, call us traitors. And you know in history, where there is a traitor, there is a master. Where there is a collaborator, there is a master. Where there is a kunia, there must be an aggressor. Hii maswali majibu nauliza swali moja. When you call me a traitor for who? Lazima nimetumwa. Ukiniita Kudaroro Gotome, ni nani amenituma? Si lazima kuna yule mtu amenituma? Na kama kuna mtu amenituma na umemkosea heshima, na kama mnakaa ofisi moja unaweza muuliza kama yeye ametuma fulani na fulani. Hii maneno lazima ikome. One man, one vote, one shilling. Hiyo taarifa ni mimi nimeanzishana naye na nimekuwa naye na nimeishikilia mpaka siku ya leo. Tusije kutoa watu yetu kwa serikali na tunasema tunawapeleka ati kuitisha maneno nje na sisi je tuko ndani ya serikali. One man, one vote. Na watu walekiwa msikize vizuri. It can only happen in the National Assembly or through a referendum. It will not happen in the streets. Na siku ya leo tuko na viongozi wameshaguliwa. Ukitaka kuleta sheria yote Kenya, sponsor an MP apeleke bunge. Or the cabinet through the majority leader. Any law in this country can only be changed by the people through a referendum or through National Assembly. Or the Senate. National Assembly hata yote Senate iko ndani. Siku ya leo tunaenda tunaambia watu kama kuna watu wamekataa. Hii maneno ya one man one vote. We must now start the process. If we are serious and you are not politicking, that we need one man one vote one shilling, sponsor the process in the National Assembly. If you are serious about one man one vote one shilling, ask us to collect signatures and I'll collect signatures for you. Kama tunataka signature milioni moja ya one man one vote one shilling, wacha kusemea kwa barabara niite. Uniambie Laikipia East give me 100,000. Mimi na Joshua tutakupatia 100,000. Ita Mutai Kahiga na Wahome wa Matinga na wengine, waambie watu ya Nyeri tuleteeni 200,000 votes, utapata in the morning. Hii tuachane na hiyo siasa sasa. Tumekubali one man one vote one shilling, twende kwa watu tusign signatures, tuache maneno ya siasa za barabarani. You cannot be allowed to whip emotions of our people in the name of your personal interest. Na tunajua mengi sana na nataka kuachia hapa. There are some people who are trying to blackmail this government. There are people who are demanding money from the president. Wewe unatuitisha ati unataka bilioni 6. Bilioni 6 inaweza jenga barabara kutoka Nairobi mpaka Nakuru. Over 120 kilometers. We tell us the truth. Kama uko na shinda, tuelezee shida ni hii. Disunity can only be caused by something. Where are we disunited? We are disunited against what? Ni nini tumeitwa tuongee pamoja tukakataa? Tell us the problems of Mount Kenya region. Name them one by one. This conversation must come to an end.
Raila is the most formidable opponent that I have. And I do not know how the politics of Kenya would look like. Yeah? So if Raila Odinga would not be my competitor, who will be my competitor?